So we just got off stream. I know we just got off stream and everything, but I think something needs to be said here, so we'll just have a little bit of a conversation. So apparently the beloved YouTuber Emaru, everybody's favorite YouTuber, right? I mean, who doesn't like Emaru? She's awesome. And apparently she was just assaulted at Twitchcon. And that is not okay. I mean, she's okay, thankfully. But what the F? And here's my take on this. Like, first of all, this bodyguard that protects her, I guess apparently gets banned from the event for protecting her. What the hell? Okay, so all right, whatever. Okay, whatever. Wholly aside from that. What the heck is going on with the fact that, like, this guy was able to just walk up and grab her face and try to kiss her? What the fuck? It's so disgusting. It's so messed up. And again, Twitchcon should be ashamed of themselves for kicking out that bodyguard and for allowing it to happen in the first place. Absolutely ashamed of themselves. You know, it's stuff like this. Listen, like, I don't want to just put it on the internet, but if there was, like, a way I could instruct, even remotely, like this is why I did that. Like, just seeing that, like, there could have been, like, she should have hit him, basically. Like, why didn't she punch him? She just, like, there's so many things that, like, so, like, my point is, like, I can't just put that stuff on the internet a lot of times. I really can't. And that's why the people that are knowledgeable with it, they can't either. And a lot of times you just get this sort of in-between wishy-washy stuff from people that pretend. Because the real ones know they can't put it on here. I've done the best that I could without just giving it to you. But again, I really wish that, like I said, if there was some way that I, like like we had friends or something like that, or something like that, and it was like the sort of thing where I could teach remotely, man, there could have been so many things that, like, she could have done in that situation to defend herself, where that guy wouldn't even gotten close. And it would have been so easy. And she's never going to get that from anybody. She's just going to get this MMA crap that tries to, you know, like she's a little, she's small, you know, and I get it. It seems like hard to do, but there are ways of doing it, and a lot of people don't know what they are. And they're just going to tell you to throw a punch, or, you know, like even I said, why didn't she punch him? Yeah, like at least try. I think she froze up. So, like, the point is, man, like, this is why I did it in the first place. Like, it's always really rewarding to hear about somebody using it to defend themselves and stuff like that. But especially when it's, like, a small female and this huge guy walks up. I am, like, livid right now. At Twitchcon, this dude that just thinks that he can just grab some woman and kiss her. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So again, I can't just put the stuff on here, but there's very, very easy things to do if somebody did that. Especially offering their face to you like that. There could have been so many things she could have done. So, like, again, if they would give me member-only stream access, that'd be one way. Because it would be more private and it would be regulated and such that I'd feel comfortable with some of the stuff. Because, you know, you're getting paid for it. That's the point. It's a skill. You don't just put it out there for people to take. You know, it requires effort and respect, but you know, there are some simple things, some simple self-defense things that you could have done that an amateur could do. Just most people don't know. If most people call it Krav Maga and stuff like that, yeah, it's Kung Fu. It's just Kung Fu, man. So, first of all, if that ever happens again, I think her first initial reaction, just from experience, like if that would ever happen again, like that I doubt it will, but if that ever happens again, initially your reaction should be to shove them away and run. Like, get behind somebody. If you don't know what to do, you don't know, really quick, like they're already about to grab you. If they don't have a hold of you, that's one thing, but if they have a hold of you, you try to shove away really quick and run and scream. Just scream your ass off. Cause a scene. Oh yeah. Scream your ass off, cause a scene. Make as much noise as you can. If you don't know what to do. That's the you know, last, you know, resort scenario. You know, you don't have that self-defense, but again, like, this is some of this stuff. If I put it on the internet, a jackass could use it to really hurt somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just put it on there. So something where it's like a membership, it makes it a little bit more difficult. They'd have to pay for something. It's, you know, it'd be like going to a class, and you know, we can weed out douchebags and stuff like that. Okay, I'm a little more comfortable with that. But again, I'm not going to put the entire system ever on anything. Self-defense stuff, yeah. Now that's the stuff that I'd love to, because it needs to be out there. There's just very basic, easy stuff to do here, guys. And there's advanced self-defense too. I'm not teaching you that. We're not talking about advanced self-defense. I'm just talking about basic stuff. Stuff that would be easy. You know, understanding how to use your nails properly. There's a way. I mean, like, the point is that everybody has tools. Everybody's individualized. You need that individualized instruction. And then you get into those situations, you think that martial arts is all the same. It's not. That's the problem. That's the mistake everybody makes. It's not all the same. You must do a technique. If you are small, you will do it differently than somebody else. Yo, you can't even reach that guy's head, so how are you going to punch him? So would you do that? Would I waste time showing you how to punch? Probably not. It's probably not the first thing I'd focus on. It's probably not. I'd focus on your ability to maintain calm in a stressful situation. You would get coaching on that. That would be extremely important. Because you have to be able to do the technique. So, again, like, if YouTube would stop playing games with me, I could sit here and I could actually give people like her membership, you know, streams and stuff like that, like at least recommendations. Hey, check this out. And even if she doesn't want to check it out, so like a friend of hers could subscribe or something, like check it out for her, you know, like, hey, this is pretty good actually, you know, and whatever, you know, like, but the point is it'd still be out there, you know, she could do something about it instead of what I just saw, where a bodyguard gets banned from Twitchcon for protecting her. What the fuck? That guy's a hero. You kidding me? Fuck out of here. How could you ever attack somebody so sweet? Like, she's just the sweetest. She's, like, funny and she's cool. She's, like... she's just cool, you know? Like, why would you do that? You realize you just walk up and grab somebody's face and kiss them. That's an attack, right? It's not... that's an attack. That's assault. Like, you don't do that. So yeah, a lot of people don't know what to do with the arms. That's the main thing. MMA and sport martial arts doesn't teach you what to do with the arms, because frankly the other person, you know, a lot of times their arms are just the same way, you know, so it's the same pattern, but with somebody else, you know, like, you never know what's going to happen. Just like they grab you or something, you know. It's like people really don't know what to do. That's why they always end up on the mat, because those guys really don't know what to do. It's very, very easy ways to get somebody's arms off of you. Doesn't matter how big they are. You can easily get somebody's arms off of your shirt or your neck or whatever. It's not difficult. Requires some training. But there are very workable techniques. It's not difficult. And if you learn from the wrong person, they won't know those things. They will not know how to do that. So, you know, you might even be taught wrong. That's the danger, being taught wrong. I'll tell you a little story here. as you guys know, I ran a school for many years, but one of the things that used to happen quite frequently was that people would come in that were black belts in karate and stuff, and you know, they were interested in the system and whatnot. And one of the things that they would discover, like sort of kind of right away, is that when they would spar me, it would be very easy for me to just knock them over, because their stance is too rigid. They don't understand how to go with anything. They don't know how to move their feet. They just stand very rigid, and they think everything is that. So because their system is that way, it's very tunnel vision. You get what I'm saying? Like they block everything else. They think that it's like brute force is everything, and it's just flat out wrong. Oftentimes, the bigger the person is, the harder they fall. That is absolutely true, because you can use that to your advantage if you know anything about fighting. So if you just know what to do, oftentimes it just comes down to that. Knowing what to do and then training to sort of desensitize that ability to not react, you know, where you freeze up. You're going to have to do that. So if anything, you know, I'm not trying to like give any secrets away here. I just feel like that's fair. I feel like that's reasonable to tell people that, because, you know, you want people to realize these things. You want them to understand the truth is out there, that so many systems and people doing things that work for sport martial arts that just don't work on the street. You know, do you get grabbed in the ring? Okay, so they're not going to teach you any of that. Those guys really have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, they're not wearing shirts. So would it... You get what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to... Yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's rules against this. They can't go for the neck. They can't go for the knee. They can't go for the groin. They can't... All these things that you would normally go for self-defense. So immediately I would teach this to the most basic student, and then you think that a Sifu can't take an MMA stylist in the row? Oh my God, that's a joke, dude. It would be like one finger. One. UFC guy, alright, I'll use a hand. I'll use my whole hand. No, MMA guy, one finger. And it's not a... I'm not trying to sound cocky, it's just true. One finger. That's all I need. You know, like it's just it's a joke to somebody that's a Sifu that understands those things. That's all. Like I'm not trying to pay a disrespect to it. It's a sport martial art. It's not for self-defense. It's not what it's for. It doesn't teach you that. There's no referee in the real world when somebody grabs a young lady by the face and tries to kiss her. You do that in the ring, you get disqualified. Sorry. And I'm sued, probably. No, that's the point is that you don't want to go to a gym. Not necessarily. I mean, sometimes you'll get somebody knowledgeable, but the point is, you know, it's hit like there's very few that have a lot of good knowledge about what to do in real situations, really. Even if they have military training, a lot of times it's not. It's sort of more forceful, militaristic stuff that requires you to be strong and not small, you know, and that's incorrect. You don't need to do that. There's nothing about martial arts that requires you to be buff. No, I mean, if you want to be Bruce Lee, yeah, okay, fine, sure, get ripped. But again, to defend yourself? Nah. In reality, just like I said with Donnie Yen and Mike Tyson, like, people asked for my honest opinion on that fight in that movie, and I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, okay, first of all, let me just let you know the facts. Pretty sure Donnie Yen accidentally fractured Mike Tyson's hand striking it. You know, the thing where I would do that too? The knuckle strike right in the... Like, that's real. We learned that. A Sifu knows how to do that. So a black level in Kung Fu knows how to do that stuff, has that training. Because the point is, that's what you do to a boxer. We are taught that. So just to think that Donnie Yen, of all people, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, like, it's not to be rude. It's just the truth. I'm just being honest. Trying to be honest. Mike Tyson is very good at punching. That's it. That's what he learned to do. Well, that doesn't take you very far in real martial arts. You just gotta get your ass kicked. Sparred a boxer once. I shouldn't say once, many times. But one time, a sparring match that I shouldn't have done, because he took a cheap shot after I felt bad. Because I kept him at bay. He wasn't able to hit me. That's the point. If a boxer can't even touch you, I tagged him so many times in the head with my feet, it's not even funny. He would have been knocked out so quick. And I pulled it too, like I wasn't trying to hurt him. And the very second that I feel bad, I let him get one hit in, and he takes this cheap shot. It's like super hard. It's like as hard as he can. Yep. So that's the reality. That's what happens. Somebody does that, and then it all goes to their head. They get all pissed off. That's what you have to realize. Like, nah, in a real situation, I would have taken him out in that second kick, and I wouldn't have, like the point is, I was being nice. I was trying to help him. I thought we were sparring, and just takes a cheap shot like that. So that's the point. Like, does he really think I couldn't have knocked him out? Like, are you kidding me? I was like, those kicks were like 30%, man. I'm like, fucking kidding me? This guy has no idea. There are some people that I taught martial arts to that were pretty high rank, and like, as soon as I started using kicks, like, you see them flinching and stuff, and like, like, that's the point. Like my students always knew that was the weapon, Oh my gosh. So the point is, like, we have all these weapons, all this footwork, and all this understanding, and you think Mike Tyson, a guy that mastered punching, is going to even compare? No. I'm sorry. I hate to, like, and I don't mean to make that as a disrespect to him. He's probably still one of the better fighters on the planet. Because let's be honest, some of these guys that do MMA and UFC and stuff, they're just nothing. He could probably wallop most of those guys, truthfully. So like, pay respect to the man. He's still really good. But again, it's not near even close to Donnie Yen's level. Don't even compare it. Not with Jet Li, not with Tony Jaa, not with Jackie Chan, not with Donnie Yen, not with any of the Kung Fu guys. Because that's that level. It's just a higher understanding. It's, you know, it's brain surgeon to family doctor, you know. It's just more study, man. They don't have the knowledge. You know, the karate forms are our like first form. Our first form that we show people in Kung Fu often looks like their black level form, their black belt forms. I'm serious. And I took Tang Soo Do, I know that. I had 2 years of it. I saw those forms nonstop. And it was too easy. I wanted to leave. They were holding me back intentionally, making me pay for this and that. It's all game. And the point is that they're not very knowledgeable, so they hold you back so they don't, you know, you don't exceed them. I watched a fat man beat up on a very obvious, young, spry individual. They could have whipped his ass. Because he had so much respect for him, he ripped his patches off and gave him a bloody nose. Left shortly after that. I was pretty young at the time, too, when I saw that. That's just messed up that they act that way in karate classes and shit. And again, it doesn't teach anything. You're not teaching martial arts. And again, the guy could have walloped him, you just let him do it. He's just a fat old man teaching karate. So, yeah, like, it's pretty bad with that stuff. A lot of those guys, they really don't know what they're doing, and that's the truth of it. And then even in sport martial art, it's a lot of those guys train to a higher degree, so that's why they would whoop the karate guys. That's why. So then the karate guys, all they can do is break shit. So then they just break boards and everybody gets all impressed. That doesn't prove anything. Okay, he can hit that really fucking hard. That's cool. I think that's real impressive for that. Sure. But again, can you hit me with it? Okay, if you can't hit me with it, it doesn't fucking matter. If it's too slow, you can't use it, you fall over because you're not flexible enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was what I would see nonstop with these guys. They're not flexible. They fall over a lot. I would just kick their legs out from, you know, like a lot of times they don't even know what leg checks are. They don't know how to properly even block kicks. They do everything with feet. They do all this kicking. They don't know how to block kicks. Tang Soo Do does not block kicks properly. They don't know how to do it. Flat out doesn't know how to do it. Tang Soo Do does not know how to block kicks properly. Flat out, that you will get kicked if you think you're blocking them properly. That's why oftentimes it goes back and forth and there's this huge scam where because the point is, like, you're leaving yourself open when you block it the way that they show you. It's not correct. Let me ask you something. If something snaps at your head really fast, why would you expect to be able to block it with this L-shaped arm? Okay. Now, if you suddenly, you know, just learn how to smack the arm accurately, precisely, but lightly, in exactly the right spot, just like physics teaches you, suddenly you start understanding you use less force. You don't even need to use force. You deadened their arm with their own strike and blocked it. And suddenly you realize how easy it is to do Kung Fu if you understand it. And that's why I said, you know, like blocks like this and this. You know, like, seriously, a block in Kung Fu looks like this, and it just looks like a little smack. Because it really does. But your arm's going to go flying down to the ground like it felt like a fucking cinder block hit it. because I hit it exactly in the right spot with exactly the right force, and I didn't need to apply force. So now if I suddenly do, I have extra. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, like you can't even if you push back against the block, the whole point is there's extra. All I had to do was tap your arm and I made the block work. Versus a karate block, you throw your whole arm out there, it's like this giant L-shaped thing, or so some sort of diagonal thing that comes way out to the side and down, or way out to the side, and it's so stupid. It's not correct. It's not correct. Yes, there is a motion that you do there where if you do it sort of right, you can block a kick, but I guarantee you when Chuck Norris uses it to block a kick, he instinctually modifies it because he just learned to do that over the years from his own experience. You see what I mean? So I'm not dissing Chuck Norris or anybody that learned the style. I'm dissing the fact that the style doesn't teach you right. So geniuses will always be geniuses. Imagine what Chuck Norris could have done if he learned fucking Kung Fu. Or Bruce Lee would have survived and he could have taught him. Jeez, that guy would be incredible. So, the point is, there's a lot of people very confused about martial arts. And, you know, it really can get you to fall for the sales game where you sign up to a school where they don't know what they're doing and they fool you into thinking you're learning something that you're not. No, it needs to be practical, man. And everybody has a different body type. You cannot expect the same technique to work for everybody. It will not. Flat out. It will not. I will never teach a technique that I expect would work great for somebody with, that's tall and big. I would never teach that and expect a small person to be able to use that against a large person. It just doesn't work the same way. I mean, sometimes it does, but often not. Because that's not how science works. That person now has leverage on you because they're taller and bigger. That's it. So they have don't do it, Annie. I have the higher ground. People made fun of that, but it's actually true. That's why that was brilliant. You have leverage on, so you have the high ground. You have the high ground. Somebody tries to do a flip over you, they're an idiot. That was the point. That's exactly what he did. He was predicting his movements. He knew what he was going to do. He had the high ground. He tries to do a flip over him. He's just going to cut his freaking body in half. Well, he didn't do that. He left him. Cut his limbs off, remember? So the point is, you have leverage as a larger person already, so why would I teach you a technique that I expect to work if that person has leverage on you? If again, this would require leverage and strength to work. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to teach you something to stun the attacker first so you can gain leverage. Because most people don't know how to do that. And it won't be hard. It won't be a punch to the face. It'll look like a very easy break of some kind. That's all I'll say. Breaks, damage, instant, easy. Only takes 3 pounds of pressure. Something like that. Seriously. It's easier than you think. So, when you have somebody that knows how to do that, that's it. It's that simple. There's very basic things that you can do. Again, if you know how to do them, 3 pounds of pressure, a little person can do 3 pounds of pressure. That's fine. So yeah, it's just about understanding and knowing how to use it. But again, most don't. And yeah, there is definitely a thing on here where people are stealing ideas and stuff. So of course they're and you know, I even saw that in the school. Like we regularly have poachers that obviously would come from other schools to figure out our drills. Like you'd see that. It was a regular thing. Like if we were up in the students and they were down or something like that, maybe we gained a few from them. They would try to poach. And it was always obvious. But yeah, you train to recognize that, obviously. And so obviously I recognize it on here the moment I see it, and it's all over the place. And so yeah, like obviously here would be, you know, like the last place I would just want to dump all the stuff, obviously. I'm never gonna just put it all out there, but I want people to be able to use it. I want them to know how to defend themselves. So I do want to be able to show it to people that deserve to learn it. It's just some of those people live so far away, and you know, I don't want to necessarily do in-person stuff and cause drama or anything like that for anybody's channel. If like something weird's going on, where they would want to just keep it private anyway, you know what I mean, like that they're doing that and stuff like that. So you never know with like individuals, like they may not want people to know their private life, they're learning martial arts and stuff like that. Like you never know, and so like you just want to be respectful of that too. And I definitely do. Some people don't want to air that out there, you know, even if they want to learn martial arts and stuff like that. Maybe they don't want to advertise it, you know, and that's fine. I know that was always my whole thing, was when I was going through the schools, I was always seeing all these guys just testosterone and competition, and you know, honestly, I came from a system of really good fighters that won a lot of world contact championships with our system, and it's a good system. I mean, it's not surprising, but you know what feeds into that, and the whole point is I just saw enough of it. I was just I was overwhelmed, and I didn't want to take part in it. I never wanted to boast about it. I just wanted to be good eventually. I just wanted to know that I obtained enough knowledge to be good at it. And I did, and then eventually I fell in love with teaching, so that was why I did that. But it was just more of the fact that it was a reward of seeing people love the art, and then seeing the eureka moments on their faces when they would, you know, figure something out, you know, because, you know, like you don't always know how to use techniques right away. You know, like the Sifu, he knows how to do it. You know, he's just going to do it, and it's going to be like, man, I wish I could make it work that way. And, you know, a few million tries later, you do. But it's you know, it's the sort of thing where you got to put the work in. And so once I see that eureka moment where they finally get it, you know, a lot closer to how it looks when I do it, it's nice. You know, like where they know they can at least comfortably try to use it in sparring. It's nice. It's nice to see that, you know. Yeah, using techniques in sparring is hard. I mean, like that's the point in reality when you see people spar. It's, you know, it's really not. You know what I mean? And so that's the point. You got to get to that level where you understand how to do that stuff. You have to be able to if you're not sparring full contact, you're not, you know what I mean? Like, and most of these karate schools, that's what they do too. You aren't practicing. If you're just learning self-defense, like where these situations like that we're talking about with Emru, you know, I'm not even necessarily saying that they gotta like train real hefty on the, you know, like everything and stuff like that, but you know, you're gonna have to do some if you expect it. You know, like you're gonna have to maintain some of it if you expect it to come naturally to you. But you know, it won't be hard. Like I said, once you do it and you learn it, as long as you maintain those particular techniques that you learned and practice, and you'll remember it, you know. But it's just like anything else. Like you're gonna, like if you don't practice it, you know what I mean? Like that's the way it works, man. And like there's a big difference between, you know, someone like me, you know, or Donnie Yen or Jackie Chan, or like anybody that did it for a long time. There's a much big difference between them and you, who, well, not, all right, if you're watching and you have lots of experience, okay, not you, obviously, but yeah, if you don't, is what I mean. And so the point is, you know, if you don't have those, I'd probably say at least 10 plus years under your belt where, you know, you've got a repertoire in there where you can pull something out, regardless of a situation, and feel comfortable about yourself, then fine. But otherwise, no, you can't. You're not going to be able to do that. You have to maintain it. Otherwise, it's not a skill anymore. Not good at it anymore. So, that's the reality, actually. And that's why it needs to be simple. That's why I understand it needs to be simple. And I won't show anything to somebody that it's too complicated, that I don't think that they'd be able to pull it off, and that I know actually does work. You know, it's the sort of thing where you're gonna see it. You're gonna see evidence. You're gonna, you know, like you easily be able to see it working pretty much right away. But yeah, some of that stuff is really hard to do without doing it in person, because you need to be able to do it to the person so they can feel how it works, if that makes sense. So a lot of that stuff, that's the problem with doing it, is if they can't feel how it works, yeah, unfortunately, you can't demonstrate it accurately. You're just showing. You're not actually like teaching anything. It looks like what I'm trying to do in the videos on the channel, but it's lost in translation when you don't feel me actually get out of the, you know what I mean? Like you're all like, oh, whatever, I can grab harder than that. And no, you can't. You doesn't matter how hard you grab. Trust me, I've really big freaking. I will. Anybody that says that, I pick the biggest guy in the room to come and grab me. And I still get out of it. And, you know, sometimes if there is a big, stronger person and then it doesn't work, I will actually modify it slightly, where I'll say, okay, so if they do this and they really are strong enough to resist this particular one, just do this really quick. And then do this. And then it'll work. And then it always works. I'll always have like a slight adjustment I can add. And yeah, you will run into that once in a while where somebody's just really huge or something like that. And something that won't necessarily work, but it should, it really will. It really, really will. But yeah, like sometimes there's just, you know, those freak of nature types of guys and stuff like that. Maybe even martial arts experience too, so. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about this. And, you know, typically those aren't the guys assaulting people, you know. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the point. Like, you have enough discipline about yourself to get to that level. I just, you know, typically you have enough discipline to maintain your composure as a citizen, I would think, usually, for the most part. Usually those gym guys are fairly disciplined. You know, the big dudes. Like, well, that's the point. You know, they like their routines. You know. Anyway, don't think that this translates though. I've worked with guys that regret the years they spent like powerlifting and stuff, because we spend years and years and years trying to break through all that scar tissue buildup, getting them, you know, flexible enough that they can. Hi. Well, hello. Where'd you come from? Hi. Oh my goodness, you have a little cake. Hi. You look like you got out from somewhere. Hey, you. I gotta go, guys. I found a little cat. He's got a tag. So I gotta call this number. Gotta go. I'm sorry.